of friends sitting down talking about the world. Fake deep thinking, leave me alone. We kind of
Dickin'.
John.
What's up, guys? You're.
Doc.
Yo. Hey, what's up? Yo.
What's up, Eugene? Hey, fake deep thinkers! Welcome back to the Fake Deep Thinking podcast. Where I got a new intro, so I already butchered it. But where we talk about, pretty much, I got a new intro, y'all. Obviously, I messed it up from the get-go. But it says right here, welcome back, Fake Deep Thinkers, to the Fake Deep Thinking podcast, where iron sharpens iron, meaning we pontificate on subjects relating to news, culture, politics, anything we find interesting. Now to introduce the Fake Deep Thinking crew. You got here John.
You're.
Doc.
Yo.
Our producer Ian in the back. Hey. And my awkward self, Eugene.
bro, Ian sounds like he's in a pit. Like, we just keep him down there, and he's just fucking making it work.
He's in the dungeon.
You're not too far off, my boy. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I was trying to see if we could find a way to get his mic going so we could at least like say hey in the beginning, but that's going to take us some upgrades. All right, so since I butchered the intro, let's jump right into the topics.
I'm trying to butcher these topics, too. Let's go.
All right, let's first talk about the New Year's. Happy New Year's, everyone. 2022. Real quick, how was y'all's New Year's?
Mine was cool. I got dressed, didn't go nowhere. Played it the safe way.
Pretty much, right? What about you, Doc?
Yeah, I did the same thing. I just chilled and hung out at my place. Yeah, I didn't really do much. I'm an old man.
Yeah, I mean, I chilled at home with the parents a little bit, and then I went out with a friend of mine, female friend of mine, went to a bakery. She worked on some work, and I actually read a book for like 2.5 hours, actually. I actually was really into that book, but that's pretty much it. That's all I did.
I didn't know that.
I'm reading that book, Dune. I'm almost done, actually.
Is that what we calling it? Oh, okay. I'm just playing with you.
This guy.
Reading a book.
That's literally what I did, actually.
Yeah,
and let's talk about some funny little things that happened on New Year's night. And the first one I kind of want to talk about, I told John about this. He wants to see the video. So let's start with this one because it's a funny video. And it's pretty much this couple kissing with masks on. Have you seen this, Doc?
I haven't seen this video.
You haven't seen the video? Oh, man.
I've just seen the meme.
It's freaking hilarious. So go ahead and play it when you're ready.
And she said yes. She said yes. Yo, we need to follow up with some of these couples 9 months from now. You know what I'm saying?
These are Koshi. That's who I meant.
That's
Boom. There you go. That's what I was talking about.
She doesn't have her mask on.
Me up for that one, Ryan.
And they're like
Truly
making out with their
hosting
mask
this
on.
one is gonna be so much fun. This feels like pure magic.
Dude, I saw this live, bro. I was cracking. I literally said, are they kissing with their masks on? And I had to rewind it. Like, they're kissing with their masks on. I just thought that was so funny. And then, like Doc said, the memes that happened from this were freaking hilarious.
Yeah, my favorite one was after seeing this, I just know 2022 is gonna be fucking stupid.
Yep, I pretty much saw the same tweet or a variant of it. Yep, that shit was so funny.
I'm finna eat pussy with a mask on.
I think you can do
dog.
that already,
What are you
man.
doing?
Just fucking, yeah. Just leave the fucking underwear on, man. It's the
Oh
same
my
thing.
gosh. All right, let's talk about the next thing that happened, which was freaking hilarious.
At that point, right? That's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Because of Marion. And then, whatchamacallit? Ain't that new joint coming through? The new mixtape. I Hate You.
What?
You ain't heard of it?
No,
variant. There's a new variant in France called I Hate You.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we gotta look into that. I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, it says it got 46 different flavors.
46. This guy. All right, let's talk about the next funny clip that happened from New Year's, which was the Andy Cohen New York drunk rant. Keyword drunk rant. So let's watch this quick minute clip, which was hilarious. I love this. Take a shot real quick, my guy.
Let me tell you something.
Talk to
Dude, he's already lit. I can tell. Like,
Watching Mayor de Blasio
damn.
do his victory lap dance after 4 years of the crappiest term as the mayor of New York.
Preach.
The only thing
Preach.
that Democrats and Republicans can agree on
Preach.
is what a horrible
Facts.
mayor he has been.
Preach.
So, sayonara, sucker.
Wow.
2022. It's a new year. Because guess what? I have a feeling I'm going to be standing right here next year. And you know who I'm not going to be looking at? Dancing as the city comes apart. You. Look. Eric,
Bro, he's got the single eye blink too. Man, he's so delayed.
Dude, that was awesome. That was awesome. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Sucker.
Reactions. John's just like holding it in over there.
I'm not holding nothing in. He was just mad sassy.
Oh man, I bet you Anderson Cooper was just cracking up the rest of the time he was on there.
He was trying to save him, low key. The whole time he was like, "Bro, like, you gonna do this? Like, chill,
Yeah.
stop!" Like, look at his face froze right now. He's like, "Oh, he did that. Oh, he
It
did
was
that."
such a long-winded. I think he was. Can you run it back a little bit? I think he was only getting 2 words out per breath. Let me see. Play.
Dude, he
over.
was lit.
After 4 years
Hold on, wait.
of the crappiest
There you go.
term
One.
as the mayor of New York,
Okay, she.
the only thing that
Only thing.
Democrats and
It
Republicans
just seemed like he
can
was running out of
agree
breath.
on is what a
I mean, he probably was. He was probably
mayor
he was
has
probably
been.
drunk. I mean, not probably. He definitely
Yeah.
was drunk. Like,
Who is that guy?
Check
What does he
out
do?
that
I have
outfit,
no
my
idea.
Boy, that jacket and that turtleneck combination.
is he a journalist for CNN or is he a host for CNN? I don't remember specific because I don't watch CNN.
I don't watch that shit either.
I don't know specifically if he's a
Are you
journalist.
talking
or
about
if he's
Anderson
like a
Cooper or the other guy?
What
Andy
are-
Cohen.
what are-
Andy
what are
Cohen.
any
Anderson,
of
we know
them?
who Anderson Cooper is, but I'm talking about
Yeah,
Andy
yeah.
Cohen. I've seen his face on CNN, but I don't know specifically if he's a journalist or if he's some kind of like host for something like.
He's not the same dude that
He's-
hosted Bad Girls Club, is he?
Yeah, he's got to be like something else because
I
I mean he wouldn't have done that if he was on CNN.
I guess that's a good. Here,
regularly.
real quick, Ian, on the side, look up. Oh, here you go. That's where I've seen him. Real Housewives host.
It
My
was one
mom
of those
watches
things.
that.
said Bad
Okay,
Girls Club.
boom.
I was close.
Oh yeah,
That's what I said. I knew I've
seen.
seen his face somewhere. I've seen him a couple times on CNN, but okay. I feel like
I like how it
have. I
says
could
an
be wrong
animated
completely with
Andy
that,
Cohen.
like-
It's like we all know what animated meant. Yeah, he's definitely
Fancy.
animated. He animated just before he started this.
I just like how they started with a shot. Both of them just down a shot real quick. Boop, and then he right into the rant. My guy. He took that burn to the chest seriously.
That was a crappy rant.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean by crappy rant? I mean, just because it wasn't well thought out, or?
Like it just, if I was De Blasio and I was hearing him say that shit didn't hit. He ain't had no bars.
Oh, you want him to go deeper?
No, I'm just saying. Just
I thought it was. I thought it was a very tasteful rant. He didn't. He just said kept it simple, and I agree with him. Something that we can all agree with on both sides of the left and the right, the
Man, fuck
Republican, the
all of that
Democrats.
shit. Fuck all of that shit.
What more
Just
could he have said?
It's not humorful. It wasn't funny.
What do you
The
mean? It
funny
was
part
freaking funny.
The funny part was that he was drunk. The rant. There was no bar in the rant that made me
Okay,
laugh.
I think I see what you're saying. Okay,
You know what I'm
It's just the
saying?
fact. Okay, I think I see what you're
I'm
saying.
here for the joke, and my boy, the joke is him. He's drunk.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I
I'm supposed to listen to-
appreciated the rant. I thought it was.
Oh,
Funny.
I will give him points for picking his time right.
Yeah, I mean, it's real easy to kick people when they're down, and I'm not defending the nigga either. I'm just saying it's really easy to pile on.
You wanted
That's
more
not the word.
creativity.
Yeah, not just Mean Girls.
Mean Girls, basically. All right, real quick before we end out this New Year thing, let's talk about some 2022 predictions. What we might think has happened. To start it off, my money. I think I said this in the
I
group
don't
chat.
think De Blasio
If
is
not-
going to be there.
There's your prediction then. Mine's going to be aliens. Because a lot of things aliens related has been happening. And we actually, unfortunately, didn't get a chance to talk about the that one investigation I think Trump ordered from the Pentagon about aliens. And they did a not a release or whatever, a discussion. I forgot specifically what it was called back in like June or July. We didn't really get a chance to talk about that. But basically, aliens has become a very popular topic of discussion this past year. And my prediction is aliens, whatever it is, an invasion, a reveal, technology, something aliens related, 2022. That's my prediction.
If we see aliens, are we allowed to comment on everybody's predictions?
Yeah. Why not?
If we see aliens, I'm going to pass away. I'm just going to let you guys know that right now.
You have
My
a heart attack on the spot.
physically, if the alien looks anything other than like a human, it's too much for me. What's up, Ethan? If it looks like anything else, I don't care what it is. If it looks anything like
Ethan.
not a human, my heart gonna give out, and that's just gonna be the end of that.
What if it's
So
like
y'all tell
a
me.
green person?
It don't
Like it's
matter,
like a person
my
that just got
boy.
green skin.
It don't. I might have to see it on TV before I catch it. You feel what I'm saying? It can't be I'm driving on the interstate, and all of a sudden it's bing bong, Nah, I'm good. Nah, I don't want to go through that. I'm straight. Y'all niggas
Like,
let me
are
know.
you talking about like Independence Day, where they just get in the car and they
Yeah,
drive
no,
and they
y'all
just
gonna
see the
have to
thing come
bring me
down?
back to life, back to reality. Dead
Nah,
ass. Y'all gonna have to.
well,
Boop,
in
boop.
Independence Day, that thing was chilling on top of that tower for a minute. My ass wouldn't have stayed there long enough to
Yeah,
if that
I done
happened. I'd
seen
have
too
been
many.
gone instantly.
Annihilation.
Not doing that.
All of them. I'm good.
Special guest star Ethan Chan.
I'm good.
What about you, Doc? What about any
Um,
predictions?
I mean, it wasn't like that heavy. I was thinking, the whole like COVID thing, it's gonna the side of not deniers but like downplay is going to get bigger, I think.
COVID deniers
Not well,
or
not deniers, but I'm
downplayers?
saying like downplayers. Like I think truly now, with most of the population having accepted like the initial vaccine and like the CDC walking back like their quarantine time, and now there's also now the corporations are like starting to approve like the fourth booster and stuff like that. I think people are
Didn't
tired
they
of it.
already approve the fourth booster in Israel?
Yeah, they're already giving it to like old people over there. But that's what I'm saying. I think people are gonna get tired of it and they're just gonna be like, all right, we're done. And like that's what I'm saying. Like I think that other side's gonna grow a little bit bigger. Because
I
at
can agree with
first
that.
people were begging for like a vaccine because they're scared of it. They didn't know anything about it, and everyone just wanted to be safe initially, which makes sense. You just want to be cautious. But I think it's kind of run its way through the population now, and like a lot of people have already taken precautions, and they're getting like, all right, at this point, like now I'm gonna start rolling the dice because I've already done the initial stuff, so it's either that or just live in fear. So yeah, I think most people are gonna just start going out and more and not really care about COVID as much.
I agree with that. I think we're gonna end up double dutching with, like, to your point. I think we're gonna end up double dutching with COVID. So like, there's gonna be this grace
Double
period
dutching. I don't know what you mean by
after
that.
you get. There's gonna be this grace period after each wave, where everybody bucks, and then the new wave's gonna come and everybody's gonna buckle in for the winter, like how we're buckled in right now. Now, like you said, most of the people it's already passed through, so people are gonna buck now until they hear about this IHU one, and it's coming and it's doing this and it's doing that. Then everybody's gonna bunker down or whatever again. But actually, my prediction for 2022 will be the beginning of the next overcorrection. I think 2022 will be the beginning of, like he said, the growing, people not caring as much.
I
But
agree
I
with you,
think
but I think that's gonna happen later. But
in another way. But I think the sparks, the embers,
yeah,
everything will start in
it's
2022.
getting hotter.
The snake will begin to chew in 2022.
Well, I forgot what the topic was, but it was already chewing.
The snake was in the mouth. I think it's clenched. I think the tail was in the mouth, but I think it's clenched now. Then we have a full Ouroboros, if I pronounce that properly, going on. So yeah, that's my prediction.
Shout out
I
to
could see
Ethan.
that, but that joke that Ab and Preach made, where they're like, "Yo, our kids are gonna be like just straight fascists." I'm actually
Yeah,
genuinely scared of that, or I'm just like, oh, I don't want them to overcorrect like that. Like, yo, like it's too much.
man, that's
Definitely think
that's a
the
possibility. I
pendulum's
don't think it's
gonna
gonna be as
just
extreme as
a little bit.
fascism, but I definitely do think it's gonna be some kind of like nationalism, maybe the least. If you got fascism up here and then nationalism at the bottom, or maybe the middle, I guess. But it's gonna be somewhere, I think, along there.
Yeah, I could see a rise in nationalism happening just because some people were fed up with the chaos
Mm-hmm.
of what happened in 2021 and stuff like that. Most people
The
don't want to live in that.
self-hating Americans. That's for me. Fucking
Yeah, that's a
tiresome.
weird thing,
That's
man. Like the nihilism of being an American, I think is the
weird.
most awkward
It's
thing in the world because I feel like it denies
irritating.
the fact that every nation has dirty laundry. I was thinking about
Every
this the other
nation.
day, like to obsess over our dirty laundry. And I mean, there is like, you know, reason because there is like still
It's
discrimination
just
and stuff like that.
yeah,
So it's still good to contemplate it and be aware of it and be self-aware so you don't make the same mistakes.
facts.
It's just to be obsessive over it
Mm,
and to have it guide the future of your life. It's like you never moved on from it. Like,
mm.
and so I don't think that's the way it should go. So yeah, I definitely do agree there's gonna be a rise in more nationalism as opposed to self-deprecating nihilism of like being an American. But I just hope that nationalism doesn't push into fascism.
Yeah, facts. I completely agree with you. All right, before we move on to the next topic, quick shout out to Ethan for his New Year's. Him and his wife grilled some tomahawk steaks. That sounds delicious, not going to lie. And then real quick, Ethan, I don't know if you got a chance to see the beginning of this podcast where I was awkward and I butchered the new intro completely. That was hilarious. If you got to go back and watch me look like an idiot. All right, let's move on to, so John said that he wants to tackle some topics, just have a discussion around it instead of blatant like we did initially with the reaction. So I have a topic for us to talk about. So around the manosphere, and I guess you could say mainly like the dating type of content on YouTube and that's out there on the internet, there's been this back and forth with this idea of the prize or being a prize and blah, blah, blah. So my question is, when it comes to dating, who is the prize? So I guess real quick, so we always start with John, start with Doc. So Doc, who's the prize?
I think it kind of depends on what your goal is when you're dating. I think a lot of people don't. Well, okay, well, I think ignorant people don't consider what they want when they're dating. Like if they're looking for sex, admit it, and then you'll find sex and stuff like that, and you'll cause less heartache to people that aren't looking for sex and get involved with you. And if you're looking to like be in a relationship, then admit that, or you're looking to get married, admit that. Because then that should be your prize. I think if you're thinking of it selfishly, you're already on the wrong path. If you're all about like yourself, or I should make the woman, like I should fight the woman in this social contest so that I am seen as the prize. It's just like, dude, that's no way to go about that. Like, even if she's hot, I think if you enter that, like you're already betting on either if you win, like what did you win? That's kind of lame if you want it, I think. And if you lose, then you're just a fucking simp. And it's just like, so I don't think you should see it that way. And I think the contest of the manosphere contesting that and arguing that is
cringe,
ill-advised, or what's the word I'm looking for? Blinded. Yeah,
I agree with that. What do you got, John?
So the question is, who's more valuable, or what was it?
I don't know. You can see it that way. I guess just the prize. Like when it comes to dating, so I guess to get more context. So you see whenever on some of those, what do you call them? When they go out to the street and they do some interviews, be it guys or girls, but specifically when they question girls on the street, they ask them like, what do you bring to the table, or who's the prize in dating, or something like those questions. Girls always say, I'm the prize, I'm the table, or something along those lines. And then an example would be Fresh and Fit on their podcast when they talk about men trying to be men and get in relationships. So their argument is men are the real prize in dating because of high value men, this and that, when it comes to money, protecting, and all that kind of stuff. So my question then, to simplify it, is who is the prize? Is it men? Is it women? Or as Doc says, there was that whole viewpoint. Or was it specifically selfish, Doc?
Yeah, I think the prize is a healthy relationship.
Selfish.
I think the prize is a healthy relationship. I don't think the prize is any of the individuals. I think the prize is being able to work with somebody to coexist. That's the prize. That's the goal. So, like, as far as somebody saying, oh, I bring this to the table, I bring this to the table, but does it fit with somebody else is the question. So, like, the whole question doesn't even matter if the relationship does not work. There's no relationship for you to be the prize in. You know what I'm saying? You can be the prize by yourself, I guess. That's cool. But in the context of the question, the prize would be
healthy, successful relationship.
Yeah, healthy and successful relationship. I mean, I'm not even going to elaborate. That's pretty much all I got. Like,
you would hope self-explanatory.
Yeah, I don't want to say the same thing over in a different way or sound repetitive, but to me, it's simple.
Yeah, Ian's Free Spirit said it's hard to hear. I don't know if our volume's kind of low or not. Yeah, my take on it is I think it's to be a little less eloquent as y'all's. I think it's dumb. Every time I hear someone, a guy or a girl, say they're the prize when it comes to dating,
it's dumb.
I think it's dumb.
I agree.
Like, it's, to elaborate more, it's simple-minded thinking. Like, I completely agree with what you said. You aren't, when it comes to building a relationship, looking for a relationship, if that is the goal, as Doc said, if that is the goal, you aren't the prize and they're not the prize. The prize is coming together and then successfully establishing a healthy relationship with each other that grows into maybe potentially marriage. That is success. When it comes to dating with the opposite sex, that is successful. We look up. I would say we look up to those type of relationships. That's why on TikTok, relationship TikToks are so popular, because they have shown we are prizes. We are a prize. The fact that we were able to come together and form this financial beneficial union that y'all love to follow, we are successful. We are a prize. Then same thing with marriages. For example, Beyonce and Jay-Z, if that's even a good example. Even though they have their ups and downs and blah, 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 they're still together, and they would arguably are a prize, both of them.
Yeah,
you can't. I think you can't be a prize by yourself. Even if you call yourself a prize by yourself, like I think that says a lot about you.
That's wild. So my boy, basically what Gene just admitted is he asked us a trick question and both of us got it right.
I wasn't trying to do a quick trick question. I know you guys, so I knew where you guys were gonna stand on this.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
What would you have said if I was like me?
Yeah.
We had a funny conversation then.
Just me.
Because I'd have had some questions then about why do you feel that way? What makes you specifically a prize? Why isn't the girl the prize?
Shit, bro. Why wouldn't I be the prize? That's not complicated, man.
Okay, well then let's dive that into this. Let's I guess analyze real quick before we move on the girl mentality of being the prize. So why do you think, and it's kind of hard for us, I guess, to analyze this without having a girl.
Female.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do a half-assed analysis. But why do you think girls view themselves as the prize relationships? Is it specifically just because they bring about their looks and the potential for offspring because of their womb?
I don't know, man. If you want to get that, that's what I'm looking for. Primitive.
Well, I'm asking questions. I just gave a very simple, obvious observation.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you hypothetically want to put in that situation to like that level of, you want to adjust the scope to go to that level of primitivity. It's like, technically, I guess the beautiful woman can say she's the prize, and the rich guy can say they're the prize. You know, if the resources versus the beauty is like the base level of the monkey brain, then like, yeah, I guess, and then like at the monkey brain level, they have some kind of an argument, but I think once you get past that or mature past that, it doesn't really matter.
His audio's out, Ian. I'll keep going just in case it's not.
Okay. Hello, Ethan. We good? We good?
Okay, we're good.
So what was I saying? You know,
reassurance.
Yeah. Reassurance. I think it's a level of reassurance because when somebody says they're a prize, even though they're saying it with confidence, it's almost like an open-ended question. So it's like, okay, from Russia.
Okay, Ethan said
Okay.
back.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay, so yeah, but we're back.
So I feel like it's an open-ended question. I don't feel like it's ever something that's like, it's like, okay, so if I'm in a relationship with somebody who says they're the prize, right? Chances are, if I'm in a relationship with them, I'm doing some type of coddling towards that feeling of them being the prize. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's that reassurance that I feel like looking for when they're saying that type of stuff. Because if you say that type of stuff, I mean, I just feel like you could show that type of stuff. So I feel like everybody has their own different values, obviously, that they bring to a relationship. But I feel like if you make it competitive in nature in that way and what you're bringing to a relationship.
Interesting, okay. So you think it's a competitive thing?
It's a competitive thing, but it's based out of an insecurity. And I'm not attributing that to women or men. I'm attributing it to anybody that feels that way. Like, I'm the prize. Even men who I got money.
Insecurity.
Yeah, and then you're trading something off too, because as a man, let's say you're like he said, the fucking chimpanzee brain male who just, I'm rich, I deserve to. You have to shut up and not have an opinion and do as I say because I'm rich, right? That super extreme or whatever. He's trading the actual experiences of a relationship for that, to coddle that insecurity. You know what I'm saying? So whereas he'd have to deal with a specific type of woman or be with a specific type of woman, and he's actually not open to a real opportunity of dating, like a real relationship. So are people out here just want
as Doc said before, sex. Like most people I heard.
Yeah, but it's not just that.
Okay, question. So,
but they want the situation. They want the appearance and everything of a relationship, but they want to control the confines of the relationship to coddle their insecurity. So when people like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I want the aesthetics of a relationship. I want somebody to be with and all that stuff.
But that gives the credence to what we talked when we first started this conversation, that we think the prize is the relationship. There is some level of subconscious recognition that the relationship itself, the successful, healthy relationship, is the prize. But even though we unconsciously accept that, that's not what we actually outwardly want. For, I would say, generally speaking, on the men's side, what we want is consistent sex. So therefore,
I would say it to your point, it's like the ego. It's like the ego with it's like the ego coupled with supremacy of sex. Does that make any sense? Like I want the ego validation of me constantly being valued by the opposite sex, and I also want to be supreme in the situation.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that competitiveness to me is just it adds a toxicity to, like, there's friendly competition in a relationship or whatever, but like that type of thing. Like, for me personally, I just want to be happy with the person that I'm with forever. Like, that's it. Like, just no stress. Be my peace. I'll be your peace, and I'll try whatever. Like, problem solving, iron sharpening iron, like my boy said in the
struggled to say in the intro.
In the intro, just different things. Like, I know it's not gonna always be smooth, so you actually have to tell yourself in times of stress or in times of, like, when you're looking at the relationship, like, damn, is it worth it? Like, does the person want you to grow? And if so, like, are they somehow facilitating your growth? Are they invested in you, like, emotionally? Fuck all the other shit. But, like, emotionally, like, yeah, if those things are present, then you should be able to talk and communicate the other things. And like I said, the prize is peace, bro. Like,
I think that might reveal a little bit. Like, I'm gonna piggyback off what Ethan said, because I agree with this, and I actually was gonna say something similar to that too. But if someone goes into a relationship claiming to be a prize, doesn't that speak to their psychological self-worth, because they need to have that outside validation to gauge their value? And I agree with that, because what I was gonna say is, you said what you want from a relationship, long term or whatever, is happiness with this person till the day you die or whatever.
mm-hmm.
I'll ask Doc next. But for me, what I want is someone willing to work with me, to tough it out, like through literally as the marriage vows goes, through better or for worse, sick or healthy. Like, I just want you to be there with me. I don't want you to leave. I don't want you to jump ship. Like, just be there. That's
Same.
I don't care if we're happy. I don't care if we're
saying.
unhappy. I just need you there
Forever.
yeah,
forever.
Exactly.
No, I get what you mean. Yeah.
Doc, before I go along with what I was saying, like, what about you? When you think of a relationship being a relationship, like, what do you want? Happiness, like as John said, or me, just you there?
I actually don't know what I want, man. I fight with this idea a lot.
Okay,
but,
that actually helps me out a little bit then. And I'm not trying to make this a dig at you, but I think people who don't really think about that deeply, like when it comes to a relationship, like what do I actually, if I'm going to put myself into this lion's den that is relationship hunting or dating and blah, blah, probably to say hunting is probably bad way to word it, but the dating world, what do I want from a relationship? And I think it, like kind of what Ethan says, if you don't think too much in it, the fact that you view yourself as a prize going into it reveals something about yourself. Like, it's revealing, like you don't really value relationships, or there's something going on here where you have, like Ethan said, a self-worth thing.
I completely agree. I see it like, or getting into a relationship, forget your age or whatever. Whenever you first get into relationships or whatever, I see this like almost like a dark room or a dark cave. You're in a dark space, right? But there are certain little pockets of, like, let's just say heat. You know what I'm saying? Those little pockets of heat represent qualities that you may like or may not like. They're different temperatures. And as you're dating, you're feeling your way through this dark tunnel, and then you may see some attributes while you're dating somebody that you don't like. Then you know, okay, I don't like that. That's not something I can do. That's not something I can tolerate. But then you see other qualities that are just your temperature. You're like, okay, that's perfect. And eventually you end up building what you would like and what you can put up with, what you can't, and you can scale everything. So I just feel like, it just takes time. It does take failed relationships sometimes. Sometimes it takes perseverance. You know what I'm saying? But
I think perseverance is the big one right there.
Yeah, but that's also like you have to be careful with that too, because then it's like we all would have just been with the person we first dated.
I don't think anything's wrong with that, but facts.
Yeah,
like high school sweethearts. Like I think personally, that's kind of awesome.
The first person you dated, though.
But that's awesome, though. Not a lot of people can do that, and that in itself is hard. My wife is my sounding board, my ear when I need, calls me out my BS when I'm out of pocket, but allows me to be me. I'm confident in who I am, and so is she, so we don't have a toxic codependency. That's dope. And another thing, too, is just every relationship's different. People who have a codependency are not, like, they're independent but still with each other. Like, whatever works for you. Like, that's one thing I personally, I guess, go on a side rant to the initial topic, that I find kind of, I guess, annoying or frustrating is we're trying to make relationships, what would be the word, uniform? Like, we're trying to make cookie cutter relationships. Exactly. But relationships aren't cookie cutter. We are so different. Everybody. Every guy is different. Every girl is different. There may be some generalities and some consistencies, but when it comes down to it, we are so different that when we talk about relationships in this cookie cutter manner, it's just hard for me personally to really take seriously, if that makes sense.
No, I get you. And look, no matter what, man, when you put a camera in front of anybody, I don't care what percentage of it is, there's some acting going on. So, like, the second you decide to put relationships on camera, I always find it interesting, except if you can, and they say with reality shows, you eventually forget, you know what I'm saying? You eventually forget the cameras are around. But I don't know. For me, all those, like, little TikTok things, it just ends up being more business-like to me than anything actual. Unless, like, anyway, maybe it's two creators. The two creators get together, they do something. Maybe that's it. But I don't know. It just seemed different.
Anything you want to add, Doc, before we do a quick shout-out?
Not really. Not on this topic. I'm still doing my soul searching for this shit, so.
I gotcha. And I think that's okay, too. Like, I don't think there is an age where you can or cannot soul search, if that makes sense. Like, if you end up, like, soul searching when you're 30, 40, 50, that's fine. And especially if you're younger, for the people who date super young, I think that's fine. We got to promote, like, it's okay. Mm-hmm. Instead of being, there's a lot of hate, I feel like, in the dating world right now. Like, there's just a lot of, maybe hate's not the right word, but just frustration.
But it's crazy. Everybody that's trying to date hate everybody that's trying to date.
Yeah, dude, it's really weird.
So who the fuck y'all gonna date?
Oh man, you just found her on a freaking app.
Ain't nobody for me. Everybody crazy.
Like, oh, dude, you're by yourself. And it's just like everyone's throwing fucking shit in all directions. And
so
just like,
all the same people just are in relationships. That's what it is.
I think all the same people just aren't dealing with it, because, like you said, the people who are dating don't like the people who are dating. So the people who, maybe to keep using the word you use, sane, just aren't doing it. And I don't want to, I do think myself sane, but to use me as example, it might be a bad example, is I deleted all my dating apps. I just found it so toxic. I just I realized that if I'm going to find someone meant for me, it's not on a dating app. She's not at a bar. She's not at a club. More than likely, and I'm not sure about this, I'm still thinking about this, like where potentially I'll find her, but she actually might be at church.
Hey, there you go, man.
She might be at a church, and that comes down to my persuasion with God that I'm working on, and by working with that, he might be like, okay, this is where you got to go to find her. But it's just... What are you saying, Doc?
I I was gonna poke a joke at that. I was like, I know a bar called Church. But...
Hey, me too. It's in Atlanta. It's in downtown.
Oh yeah, there's actually a bar called Church. Damn.
I was just fucking around. I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah, we've been there. That bar is awkward.
Oh,
All right.
He said, "Don't front like we ain't ever did what."
Ever did that? What are you talking about? All right, let's do a quick shout out to our podcast sponsor. All right, y'all. This pod. I'm struggling today. Blah, blah,
There you have it.
Lion face. Lemon face.
Yeah, remember we're live still.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But that's not. But,
That boy said, "Hi, I'm lemon face." Ooh,
so this podcast is sponsored by Angel Blinds, a local Atlanta, Georgia area small business. Their blinds help you get a new look to your living room, to your bedroom, to your dining room. They even have custom kid blinds with their favorite superhero or princess.
Get it.
With our promo code FDT, our audience gets 10% off their first purchase. You can find them on Facebook page, Angels Blinds, or Instagram at Angels_Blinds. Check them out, y'all. Appreciate Angel Blinds.
Hey, and them blinds ain't funny. It's a serious thing. It's a serious thing. Go check them out. Come on now.
Man, I should have took a shot or something just to get my. I don't know what's going on.
You can take a shot and shout him out and then just be like, "Screw de Blasio."
Hey, keep up the same energy as freaking, what was his name? Andy Cohen.
No, you don't want that energy, boy.
Real quick to answer Ethan, they do have a website. They're working on it right now. I said the same thing because I typed in Angel Blinds and it's like skeletons. But I'll definitely be on their heels about that because I definitely said the same thing. All right, let's transition to what?
Nothing.
This guy. Let's talk about Joe Rogan and oh, stupid joke. This guy. Why does that make you laugh?
I don't know.
All right, so YouTube and Twitter delete Joe Rogan interview with scientists who helped invent the mRNA vaccines. Dr. Robert Malone claimed U.S. is now like what'd you do there? U.S. is now like Nazi Germany, with society hypnotized to believe in vaccine and extreme pandemic measures. So for me, it was kind of hard to find the full 3-hour interview because there are some people who have been like uploading it. YouTube takes down, other people then upload it, take it down. I was fortunate to find a link, instantly pulled it up, did not click off it, and I was able to watch it, sent it to the group chat, and immediately was copyright striked or whatever it was. Doc was like, "Hey man, I can't see it." And I was like, "Damn, already?" But it was actually, if you can somehow find it, I think you just go on the Spotify and just listen to it instead of watching it, honestly. But it's pretty interesting. It's basically he first talks about his credentials, about him first being, I think, a carpenter or something like that, and then wanting to go back to school for I forgot his specific degree. I think it's what's the field where you do vaccinations? Rheumatology. Yeah, there you go. Ethan says Spotify. Yeah, you can definitely find it on Spotify. And then they start getting down to some topics that are pretty, some would think, conspiratorial. And one of them that stuck out to me was the one where they talk about how, I forgot what the word was, but basically, if you go into the hospital for, his dramatic example was a gunshot to the head, and you happen to have COVID, because of certain, not regulations, rules, or policies or something like that, you'll go down as a COVID death, insinuating that some of these numbers might be virologist, not rheumatologist, virologist. Okay, correction.
That makes sense.
That does make sense. Might be a little,
COVID,
wonky.
Inflated.
Or inflated, as Doc says. Yeah, I was trying to be a little bit whatever with my verbiage. But yeah, wonky or inflated. And another thing that stuck out was some of the side effects that aren't being spoken about when it comes to the vaccine. He talked about the one that's being spoken about amongst men, which is, I think it's something to do with blood pressure and the enlargement of the heart. I don't know if it was hypertension or something else, but something that's common in men. And then in women, it's doing something to their, I don't know if it's their uterus, where it's affecting their eggs, or potentially like
the club.
Pretty much, yeah.
They messing up the club?
Apparently, like there's some.
Ooh.
Yes, I don't know specifically on it. He dove into it a little bit, and it's a Joe Rogan podcast. He couldn't elaborate too much, but he definitely talked about it. And I just thought that was interesting.
Has the guy's credentials been checked and everything like that? Like,
Oh yeah, for sure. He is who he
Okay.
says he is, and he is what he is. The I guess contention is people are saying he wasn't as involved as he claims to be with the invention of the mRNA vaccine, but he was part of it. So I mean,
he that nigga in the studio that said, "Oh,
Maybe.
say that word."
yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, you know, I wrote that little baby song.
So I guess we can real quick read some bullet points here from the Daily Mail, and then I guess let's dive into fertility. There, that's what I was thinking of. Thank you, Ethan. So YouTube has removed Joe Rogan 3-hour and 6-minute podcast episode with Dr. Robert Malone, which was posted on New Year's Eve. Malone, 61, claimed to have invented the mRNA technology used in the COVID-19 vaccines when he was just 28 years old. During the podcast, Malone drew parallels between the U.S. and Nazi Germany with mass formation psychosis. I actually wanted to talk about that specifically. I actually wrote that down here, but we'll get into that in a second. And intelligent people barking mad. Malone even questioned the effectiveness of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine in a tweet posted the day before his account was suspended on December 30th. Yet, despite creating the technology, Malone said he still speaks about getting jabbed simply because it's the right thing to do. Quote, it's the right thing to do. He told Rogan that government-imposed vaccine mandates are destroying the medical field, quote, for financial incentives and political ass covering, which kind of goes what I said about with the whole health thing, hospital thing, and how their policy goes, because they get more funding if it's down for a COVID death. Quote, the episode was posted in full on an account not affiliated with Joe Rogan, but was later removed. The audio-only version of the episode is still on Spotify. Despite Malone's claims in the podcast, 62% of the American population is vaccinated, and another 73.3% have at least one dose of a vaccine.
What does that mean?
What do you mean?
Niggas got jabbed once and skedaddled.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people don't come back.
Yeah.
For some people in like really, I guess difficult to reach areas, which at this point I don't think is still a relevant issue. We're only able to get vaccines because they needed to, like, share them essentially. Like they couldn't, get enough vaccines to give them 2 jabs, so they all had to get at least just one. Because you only need the first one, to get it into your T cells. Because the first one sends it to the bone marrow, and so you always have like essentially the battle plans in you. But the second one is the one that bolsters the outer defenses, and then that's what keeps it from, like, once it goes in, your body automatically kills it. So to reduce hospitalizations and death, they at least recommend the first one.
I don't know. I don't really care about vaccines. I'm not really pro or anti-vaccine. My whole issue came down to just the mandates. Like, speaking back to our past conversation we had when Biden first mandated it. I think first when he even contemplated the mandates. I just thought that was a huge leap. Because I don't really see, because even Malone here quoted saying about vaccines, because it's the right thing to do. I don't think it's the right thing to do. Like, if you personally do, sure, but I don't see how taking the vaccine is the right thing to do. If you think it is for your personal health, fine, I got nothing to say about it. But to the government to unanimously think it's the right thing to do and therefore mandate it for everyone to do, I think is vehemently wrong. They're overstepping their bounds. Because, and like I guess to rehash my stance, we don't have enough information on it. And the more information coming out, for me personally, makes me more hesitant about taking the vaccine. I guess not to get too deep into it, but yeah, it's the whole mandate thing. If you don't feel comfortable, man, don't take it. If you do, take it. And this whole stigmatizing of the people who don't want to take it, I think, is wrong. The mandate's wrong. We're starting to create these caste systems, which is also wrong. Like, that's why I personally do agree with Malone's take. Like, we're looking like freaking Nazi Germany. It's like, what are we doing? And some of the videos, not specifically in America, but in other countries, I think like UK, Europe, or whatever, where you got police literally beating and tackling people because they're not vaccinated, refuse to show their papers, like, quote unquote, papers, please. Like, it's just, what are we doing as a world? Not even country, just world. Like, this has gotten so ridiculous, in my opinion.
I do think Europe's having more issues with it, more so than us, because they they're just like, no, like everyone has to get it. Like everyone has to do this.
That's
Like I know
wild.
people overseas and they're even going back into lockdown, and we're not in lockdown. In fact, the CDC just walked back the quarantine time, and you know they walked back a lot of stuff.
They walk back a
Like,
lot of stuff. The topic we get.
yeah,
Do you want to tie in that topic to this one?
it's pretty much tied in.
Yeah,
Like,
might as well. So so CDC
yeah.
walks back how widespread Omicron was from a 73% spread to a 22.5. If you want to pull up that article real quick, Ian.
Well, so they walked back that they already Fauci came out on CNN and said that a lot of hospitals were counting, like you were saying, um, other injuries that were in, like I guess a patient, but they also had COVID. They were counting them together as deaths, and so he admitted that they inflated the numbers like just this past week, to some extent. Like maybe like he didn't tell them to do it, but like the hospitals were just like tallying if they had COVID on like every single
They
patient.
got financial funding for it. It makes sense. It's
I
incentives.
feel like
It's incentives.
I feel like yes, that does exist, but I also feel like it's too soon to already be like, oh, it's money. Like,
I don't know.
you know what I mean? Like that to me seems conspiratorial
It
because
is.
it's
I'm not
just
gonna
like it's
lie, it
only
is.
been like a year and a half, and they're already like, no, there's this fucking infrastructure where people are getting money for fucking doing this. If you tally everybody, that's like, I really already like that's so fast, dude.
Yo, we're
I mean,
America.
I
We're
might be proven
freaking
wrong,
greedy.
but like that to me, I think is a core issue. I honestly think it was just poor data management that they got inflated numbers.
That's a hell of an excuse. I'm not gonna lie to you. Poor data
Da-
management. That's
I'm a
a
data
hell of
analyst,
an
bro.
excuse.
I'm a data analyst, bro. Data management. A lot of people fuck up, man. Or some people just fucking they want to go home early and they're just like whatever, whatever. We'll round it up, and then they walk off. So
That's... Go on, John. You
I
want to speak?
think I think that does happen like a lot of the time. Um, that's what I'm saying. Like for this corrupt infrastructure to have been built within like 18 months of a virus, dude, that's a
Well,
little
some of the people on that side, they're
far-fetched to
not
me.
saying it's been built for 18 months. It's been there since, I guess, its inception, and COVID just happened to come along. And
Thank you. Like I was going to
yeah,
say,
go for it, John.
if you ask anybody who works in the medical
Because I say
field,
you've actually mentioned this
thank
before.
you. And if you know anybody that works in medical billing, this is just a thing. This was just the next jug. This was just the next finesse. That's all it was. COVID was just a big finesse that came on. I'm not saying COVID itself was a finesse. God forbid. Corbid. We gotta call it something else so we don't fucking get.
No, we can say COVID on here.
Okay, yeah. They probably gonna put that little link.
Oh yeah, they might put that little. They might put that little thing. That's facts.
But anyway, it was just the next finesse. For example,
It's called the China virus.
when you bill, when you do medical billing, everything has a code, right?
Yeah.
So, like for example, I could bill for a scooter that has a code to say it's 7777 or whatever, but the same scooter and that code may give me the allowance to bill them for $600. That same scooter may have another code from another time, at whatever 777A or some shit like that, and I can bill for $1,200. You get what I'm saying?
And you're gonna bill for the
And I'm
1,200
gonna
instead.
bill for the $1,200 instead. So if this just comes down to a check mark, and I'm sure with how quickly they did it, they were very loose on a lot of the stipulations. If it just comes to checking a box to say, oh, you had COVID, and you get an additional whatever it is, the doctors will do that. Like, it has nothing to do with COVID. They've always done that. When it goes to doctors, if you're talking about medical supplies, you talk about chiropractors, you talk about any of them. Check a chiropractor's bill for somebody who's been in a major accident that wasn't found at fault versus somebody who's just going there to pay out of their chiropractor, pay their chiropractor out of their own pocket. The charge is going to be different. Why is that? Because they know that person's going to come into a lump sum of money. So they need to charge you an absorbent fee. They might give you the most expensive thing, the most highest level or whatever, to assure that, oh, you needed that, blah, 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 blah. So they can get their check, you get your check, and everything keeps going. So that's just how it works.
I agree, man. I'm a humanist though, so I'm just gonna.
What does that mean?
It means that like I always kind of lean towards the human. How do I explain it? Like the human positivity, like the like not that like evil people don't happen. You know what I mean? Like I just choose not to be like, oh yeah, they had this infrastructure that was already built, and immediately the fucking vultures came in and started sucking blood off of a situation where the entire global community was in crisis. Like I just don't
So you think
lean that way.
So you think humans, people by default, are good, not evil?
Yeah, that's pretty
Wow.
much it. Yeah.
I'm the exact inverse. I think people are evil by default, not good. And that could honestly be rooted to my Christian beliefs too. Like we're born with the original sin. I don't think people are.
Don't even care about none of that. It has nothing to do with evil or good.
Well, we're simplifying it, obviously. You can elaborate more, but these simple terms to get the point across.
Like,
Doc believes people are good.
No, but I get it. But I'm saying, to me, it doesn't apply because this isn't a case of people being vultures, and this is just a this is just a byproduct. For example, if we look at the statistics of other more profitable diseases, chances are they're more inflated than they need to be as well, because of the same reason. This is just the one we have our attention on. It has nothing to do with it being evil. This is a gray area, loophole, whatever, that is made on purpose. Certain people won't even know about certain codes.
Okay,
Bigger
but the
companies
creation
would know
of
about the codes. So it has nothing to do with them being evil. If the people need the help, they need the help.
Okay, who specifically? Because we're talking about a lot of people.
I'm
You're talking about the creation of it, or people utilizing the gray
area?
The
whole system itself, the doctors, the medical supplies supplying the patients from the doctors. For example, a lot of medical supplies, right? They'll meet doctors, they'll build a relationship with the doctors, and guess what the doctor will do? Oh, if you need a power chair, I can suggest this medical supply to you, and Guess what the doctors get? Money off of referrals. You get what I'm saying? There are whole people's jobs that are around these gray areas. So it's not to do with evil because the numbers look crazy. The numbers just a byproduct of what's already going on.
I'm not saying all of it's evil. What I'm trying to, I guess to elaborate my point more, I'm just trying to say it's incites.
No, you didn't say it was evil. I'm just saying we don't have to even think that deep into it being a thing of when he said like I'm a humanist. Like, it doesn't have to be that deep. It's just literally, it's just something that's like it's a business model. I say that
to back up my opinion that I think data analysts are humans and they mess up. So I mean, like managing data isn't simple. Like you have to be meticulous, and it takes certain kinds of people that are really good at it to do it. And sometimes like those people get stressed and they're human and they just want to go home at the end of the day.
Exactly.
They round up or something, or they just they get careless, or they're too tired because they've been working this entire time through a freaking global pandemic, and they decide that they accidentally miss numbers and stuff like that. Like inflation does happen when there's poor data management. Like if you're a data manager, you're actually trained to be really meticulous with it because you being a human causes variance. And so that's why I'm saying, like, I just think that they messed up. I don't know if it was like some kind of a carrot in front of them that was telling them to inflate numbers so that they could get some kind of extra money so that the CEO could get a yacht or something like that.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the data analyst. So you're saying you think a group that's trained to be meticulous, you think it's more plausible that they messed up rather than a group just got loose stipulations put on them and they took advantage of the system. Now, if that group is trained to be meticulous, I would give them more of a benefit of the doubt than the individuals that's giving them the information. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not blaming the data analysts. I'm saying they were giving such loose stipulations
I'm
as
not
far
blaming the analysts either.
as what they could identify as a COVID death, or the parameters, of a COVID death. So, for example, like he said, if somebody got shot and they died of that, but they checked and the person did have COVID, they could still somehow categorize that as a
as
COVID
a data
death.
analyst,
it's not the government's fault either. It's just if you simplify things and you rush things and you put it to just checking a box, it allows for that area to be inflated. So I'm sure they did their research and found out, oh, this person got shot. Oh, this person had a heart attack. Oh, this person that. And that's where the numbers got drawn back.
So my question as a data analyst, Doc, and I don't know if you can answer this or not depending on the kind of data you deal with, but do you only analyze the data you receive, or do you also question the data you receive, if that makes sense?
You have to do both. So, responsible data management requires that you basically look at the system that you're being taught to analyze. Um, like that's the only way you're going to do it. Like if you're doing it for, so a company hires you to be a data analyst, right? They they don't have any kind of system. They're like, I don't even know what you need to analyze. I just know that I'm not selling well and I need to sell better. And you go, okay, cool. Well, as an analyst, you're like, I'm gonna start from the root. Like, what? Let me see your money. Let me see your the way your workers work. Let me see all this other stuff. And then they build systems for you, and they go, okay, cool. So through this database that we created, we've realized that your workers spend 30 minutes doing this. And when we finally went to go talk to them, we found out that they were saying that like they don't understand why they're spending 30 minutes on it when they can do it in 15. And then you find out that like there's overhead time and you need to shave that off and stuff like that. um and so you talk to them and be like, well, if you like, can you comfortably do it in 15? Like if you're telling me you can do it in 15, I'm not gonna be a dick and make you do it in 10 or anything like that, but like what's the comfortable space? And they'll be like, no, 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 like it's too much, it's too egregious. And then you like fix little things here and there. So and then when you show it to like your client, you're like, this is a system I built and this is what it was, and this is originally the time and motion study you guys did, and we realized that you guys were measuring the wrong thing. And that's the question where like you have to question what the data was. So, but it gets complicated though, because sometimes like if you have a client that doesn't really listen to it, there's nothing you can do about that. So that's like the other thing too. So in this case, like with the CDC and all that stuff like that, I'm pretty sure like there had to be, because like people aren't dumb. Like there had to be an analyst somewhere at a hospital that was just like, dude, why are we counting the guy who got the bullet shot? Like why he got shot in the head? Like he's not a COVID death. Like that doesn't make any sense. And then some boss above him said, we said that to the CDC department, and we haven't gotten a response in 6 months or 3 months or whatever. And they're the persons that we're turning in the data into. So count it for now, and we're just gonna turn it in because we need
build them.
We need to hit our
But you're
deliverable.
also
We need to
build.
give them that data because that was our job. Like,
But we're also
it's almost worse if you don't give them the deliverable, because then they're just like, well, why the fuck did we pay you or whatever. Like there are people that are questioning the system. It just takes a while for you to actually turn some heads the higher up it goes.
And based on your what you just said, the person would have to input the data and then go back and investigate it, because the government still needs their answer on the day of what was reported. You get me? So when you go back and you backtrack some of those and you fix that information, I get it. It takes time to investigate, but they weren't allotted the time to investigate all this stuff. They just
Son of a bitch.
What?
Can they still hear us? Yeah, they can hear you. All right. Well, I think my camera just died. So close out your point, then we have to close it out. This has been a tough. What a great way to start the year.
God damn.
Yeah.
Hey, so I just feel like you said, they would have to investigate after. So I feel like they're put in a situation where like we just need the numbers daily. No matter what's being said, we need the numbers daily. Then we can go back and investigate and cut it down. But we rather not create panic, but we rather have people more prepared and more aware of this and inflated numbers than have people undersell it or undercut it with the numbers being too low. So I feel like what we're seeing right now is them going back and doing their investigation and saying, okay, some of these don't make sense because of these other reasons. So
that's why I don't really think it's like,
it's not malicious, but the doctors.
Yeah, it's not malicious.
Yeah, but I'm saying on a smaller level, you have to think about.
I think there is malicious, but it depends where it is, and I don't think it's with the specific data analyst. Like Doc said, they're just doing a job.
Practices.
But there's a gray area that was created, and it was created, I would argue, for a reason, and it hasn't been addressed. That's where the maliciousness lies.
Yeah, so I mean, like it's just greed, to be honest with you. Like, but it's business. Like, a lot of people, if you could charge more for a thing and the person does have it, like they're gonna check the box and keep it pushing.
All right. Anything
Well,
last
alright,
points before we
guys.
close out? Yeah, because
order
unfortunately
these
Cameron and
wings.
I gotta get. And we're already about an hour
Check the
in.
menu. Check
I think the
menu.
longer this goes on, the more the greed will grow. I think that's going
Facts.
to be the true determiner of
100%.
like it being evil or becoming evil. I don't think the initial scare. I genuinely think most people during the initial scare were like, "All right, I'm on board. Like, how do we all survive? Like, how do we come through this and for the best outcome and stuff like that." But now that like everybody's gotten to deal with the situation, either natural immunity or vaccination, depending on like an individual situation. I think now the companies are going to start being like, oh, we can profit. Oh shit. And then like as it's starting to go longer through like 2 years to 3 years and stuff like that, those evil systems will start to be built. But I don't think initially. I honestly think it was like a combination of policy error, like John was saying, and then I genuinely think a combination of human error as well, where they were just fucking overworked, man, because it was a pandemic and they're just crossing off weird numbers, losing Excel sheets, and fucking up.
Yeah, this is why 2022 is going to be interesting because a lot of stuff's coming out. All right, y'all. Thanks for putting up with my mess ups, my blunders, at the beginning all the way to the middle to the end. I went through it this episode. Great way to start the first podcast of the year. A good little precursor to how things are going to go, I guess. Make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you also subscribe. Hit the notification bell to get notified when we post. Also follow our socials. We got TikTok, we got Instagram, and we got a Facebook. Fake Deep Thinking Podcast FDT. We see you next time on Fake Deep Thinking, y'all. Peace.
Peace out, y'all.
Welcome back to FDD. Just a group of friends sitting down talking about the world. Fake Deep Thinking. Leave me alone. We kind of
Dickin'.
John.
What's up, guys? You're
Doc.
Yo. Yo, what's up? Yo.
What's up, Eugene?